What is going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video review. Today we are gonna take a look at Bane 2.0, and I always get my figures at bigbadtoystore.com. I'll put the link down below. This Bane is currently sold out, but make sure you are subscribed because I always post on my YouTube page and on my Facebook whenever there's a like a restock or something. So this guy is sold out for now, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a high demand for this. I wouldn't be surprised if they reissue or restock this one. It always does happen, so just keep an eye on that. So this is the 2.0. The first one I do have as well. I still have it. Probably not gonna sell it. This is just a regular box. This is not a DX or anything like that, even though it does feel that way. But totally different than the kind of like the shoebox type that we had in the first one. Right off the bat, you hold this and it's the box is a bit heavy. The body is different. I've had seamless bodies before, but two trays. You got the back part right here is the stand, the base, and the two, I guess, clothing that you do have. Now the stand it's more of a diorama base. You certainly have some options here. This is the same one as Catwoman minus the chains. You can buy that anywhere anyway. And you got the crotch grabber stand here, and this is a plastic / cardboard housed into it. So again, there's like the two jackets that he does have. And jumping on to Bane himself, if you've seen the movie, he doesn't come with any weapons or accessories. That's the tool that you use to move the hands. But honestly, you really don't need anything from this one. So they made it up on the base and the different, I guess, outfits. So different looks that he does have. Right off the bat, holding this figure, it feels heavy. And they included this shorter version of his gauntlet, so it would fitly, like nicely fit if you put the jacket on, because it's a bit bulky on the sleeves and all that stuff. We never had that on the first one. Now you can see here, this is the broken cowl. Again, same thing as what it came with Selina Kyle Catwoman. Different than the first Bane. The first Bane is a little bit more damaged. You got two-fisted hands. You got the I would say gripping hands to grip his vest. And then you got some expressive hands. These hands are, I'm not a big fan of this. It doesn't feel like they belong to Bane. They feel like generic hands. I thought we turned that corner now where it's a different one, but I guess not. This one is, again, same as Selina Kyle, so this is nothing new to me. I wish that those chicken wires were real and not printed, but they are printed. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. You could remove the backdrop if you want to, but it's a nice one. This one is a faux leather gauntlet, again, to mimic the full-size gauntlet. You're not gonna see the full size anyway once the jacket is worn on him. So you got two types. You got the faux leather, and then this one is the suede. I'm glad they went with suede because my old one just started peeling. Well, it's pretty much gone by now. But we'll take a closer look into the figure itself. Starting with the boots, a lot better than the first one. And then the cargo pants, I'm glad that the knee pads are velcroed. They're not sticking, so typically they do peel over time. The vest itself looks wider and bigger and more, I would say, accurate than the first one. The first one is a bit kind of chunky. It's a bit wobbly, but that was, ironically, that was meant to be taken off. Like, you could take it off. I'm sure you could do the same thing with this. I will not attempt. The body looks phenomenal, as you can see. The gauntlet as well. They are working velcros on the gauntlet. Right there, you can see the stitching. It's beautiful. They are actually working compared to the first one. The first one, it's not too bad. It feels like you just kind of slide it in. It's not too bad. The hands, like I said, I'm not a big fan of. Just generic hands. I wish the fingers were a little bit bigger. I wish it was more lifelike, like Black Adam, so to speak. The cargo pants, again, it looks cool. The belt, again, in the first one you could remove it. I'm sure you could do it here. I'm sure you could. I'm not going to, but the body, I'm interested to see how the body looks like underneath this vest, because you could also see the scar on his spine area. There's different scars all over his body. The way you touch this figure feels just like a human being, like you hold him, it feels good. Silicone body, different than Hellboy. Hellboy is the closest one to this that I could remember of in terms of hot toys. Obviously, I had Fison, but this one just feels right. It just feels different, just feels premium. The boots. Now, what is the meat of this is the head sculpt. He doesn't have a nose and a mouth, so it was challenging for Tom Hardy to act this way. So he said he can only act using his eyes, and lucky for us here, it's a rolling eyeball system, so we could recreate scenes using his eyes. But on the flip side to this, you could see, look at all the details that is not present on the, it is, but it's not as refined on the first Bane. The texturing looks pretty cool. The dry brushing of the silver areas are nice as well. There's many. The first one is not bad. It's just they turned it up a notch with this 2.0 with a different paint application. Obviously, the moving eyes is a big selling point for me. The rolling eyeball system, the shape of the head. Maybe one day, I'll do an in-depth comparison. Shouldn't, because honestly, even because I do have the first Bane, this is a massive improvement. So if you are a Bane fan or a Dark Knight fan at all by Nolan, there's zero reason for you not to pick him up, even if you have the previous Bane. And look at those, I don't know, scars or keloids on his head. Looks pretty cool. Yeah, it's just amazing. Now we're gonna take a look at some articulation points here. So the head, you could move the neck compared to the in-art ones where you really couldn't. You're depending on the head sculpt. Here you could move the neck like this body. It's ratcheted joints, so it would hold a little bit. A forward motion is not too much. It even says on the instructions it's only like 40 degrees. Also back part, not that much, but you could raise his arm sideways pretty high. There are pictures where he was holding Batman over his head. That's possible as well. Just need some courage to do that, to not mess up your figure. But on the elbows, there's a pretty good tight bend here as well. Again, I wouldn't leave my figure in that position for a long time because these rubbers are gonna crack. There's some waist movements here, even though he does have this gauntlet or this armor in his body. Everything looks good. Now he can kick pretty decent. For a figure this size, there is some ankle pivot, as you can see here, but obviously it's not a split cut boot design, but it works. You can also bend the knees all the way in the back, and like I mentioned earlier, this is velcroed, so even if you accidentally remove it, you can pop it right back in, compared to those Deadpool ones where it just peels off. But beautiful looking figure. Now let's head over to the poses. This is where he was in the sewer, about to get that big fight. The body is just beautiful. You can see a seam on the wrist compared to the first one where you have seam on the elbows, seam on the shoulders. This one, I'm gonna settle with the wrist. I wish the hands were a little bigger so you don't see the ball joint. I don't mind that that little line out there. But again, there's no way they could make this not a seamless on the wrist unless you're not going to change the hands at all. There's just no way. This is the jacket that is an extra one, where it wasn't included in the first version of Bane. So I'm gonna take advantage of this jacket because it looks pretty cool. This Bane, the body of this Bane is so good that even though the clothings are phenomenal as well, it almost feels like a waste to cover this seamless arms, shoulders, and all that stuff. But again, I can't help myself because the more iconic look, at least in the movies, he spent the most part of him wearing the trench coat or the jacket. This one he did not so much, but I know there's like custom made Banes as well, where he was in the stock exchange, where he does have the courier jacket. So this is what's gonna be the look for my other Bane, or vice versa. I can switch them off. So the one on the right, when you're holding your phone or watching this, that's the original Bane. The jacket has flaked on mine, so I'm gonna have him use the new jacket, which looks better. I might just remove the jacket from the 2.0 altogether, because like I said earlier, it feels like a disservice to the seamless body to cover it up. Now the good news is you have plenty of options. You can switch it up if you do get bored. But yeah, there's a use for my older Bane, and this is how he looks like. And this is something you can't even do on a non-seamless body back then, which is him kind of like, like the boss pose, as they call it, where he's holding the color of his body armor. Looks pretty cool. I like the suede material of the jacket because it's not gonna just disappear on us or just disintegrate in our very eyes. But this look is the more iconic one. So I have an option here. I can display him like this without a jacket on, put this jacket on my first Bane. That is the I guess the positive side of not selling my older Bane. And here he is, when he was doing this speech on the Capitol against like Commissioner Gordon and Harvey Dent. Again, the jacket is a big part of who Bane is. This is the right size, right length as well. It's not going to deteriorate. You got to be careful with those red tassels on his armor, because if you leave the jacket here for too long, and this is speaking by experience, it would bleed out to the inner layings of the jacket. So you would see some red in the inner side. It's not a big deal, but it's something to be to note forward to. So just keep that in mind. But this looks pretty cool. I'm holding the broken mask. I even have the torn picture of Harvey Dent there too. And I wish this was a little bit better integrated. Like, I wish this was a diorama scene where it's not completely identical, where it's kind of like a build the figure but build the diorama this time. I wish that was the case, because that would have been cool to have like a longer version of this, kind of like him and fighting Batman. Maybe I could just put them together, and remove the water scene. But I doubt it. But there you go, guys. This is Bane 2.0 from Hot Toys. And if you are a fan of the Nolan trilogy, I highly recommend this. I don't know what the price now on the aftermarket, but it's worth it. I don't even know what the price is, but it's worth it. Beautiful figure. Anything Nolan, maybe I'm a little biased here. Anything Nolan, I need to get my hands on. So I'm excited for that Jonathan Crane as well in the future. I want that announced today or yesterday. I bought the new Selena Kyle. I think that was an improvement. Definitely this. If there's any prototype for Hot Toys 2.0, Bane's picture should be there. I don't know, outside of the wrist, can you even improve upon this figure? Maybe a better base that's not, with Selena Kyle, the wrist, but the rolling eyeball system, new and improved head sculpt, new and improved body. the proportions, because even though Tom Hardy's not the tallest, on the movie they portray him as this big guy. So, they're following what the movie did. It is a really, really good figure. Probably one of Hot Toys' best figures, if not ever. I would say last year, but ever. I'll put it that way. Like I said, outside of those two, I can't think of anything else to add to this figure, and that's hard to do. But let me know in the comments, are you gonna get this? Do you have the first Bane? What do you think about this one? I would love to hear your thoughts. If you missed out, how much are you willing to pay for this? I would suggest wait, but I would love to hear your thoughts on this one. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.